Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to everyone. How are you, students? Welcome back to BCM 3203 Computer Game Programming 2 with me, Dr. Sarah. This video is I'm doing this video for my student who's enrolled this subject for this current semester, which is the semester 1 2020-2021. Okay, for this time, what I'm going to talk in this video is about another briefing. I will give a short briefing. I hope it's short. A briefing on the mini project, which is in this mini project you will need to develop a 3D game programming task, which is this mini project must be done in a group of 3 persons, and a part of the project group, it is actually an individual assignment as well. It is an individual task in a group. So I will see how you perform as an individual, and I will also see how you work in a team to combine all the level of the project which you have worked individually before. So without further ado, let's proceed with the instruction on details on what you are going to do for the 13 weeks of study. Okay, as you can see in column under week 2, I already attached the mini project instruction. So you may download the instruction here, go here and download the instruction to get all the instruction and also the submission date, which is the submission date, and the details of the project. Okay, so let's go one by one. From this document, as you can see, this is the final assessment, which is it encompasses about 70% of your marks. It's quite high. But this 70% doesn't mean it's a total group, but part of it is an individual assessment. Okay, and the duration is about 10 weeks, starting from. I give you extra time because I already give this briefing, briefly explain about this project on week 2. So by now, you should already discuss with your team members about what you should do. Okay, the total mark will be 100, and the course learning outcome for this assessment will cover all the 3 CLO, which is the CLO1 on the analyze various computer game programming technique. It will assess your C4 analysis, and then the second learning outcome is the CLO2, which is students should be able to construct cohesive and interactive game application by manipulating game object using the game programming techniques, which is under P4, which is the mechanism. And the CLO3 is at the end of the project, students should be able to demonstrate critical thinking by producing functional game logic in the game application. This functional game logic including the collision, the physics itself, and also the implementation of AI in your games. Alright, so overall of this assessment is that it will require some critical thinking process to propose a serious game application by analyzing the selected case study to demonstrate your conceptual understanding of the game component in the game programming design and development. Okay, for this project, our focus will be on the education. So we are going to create a game for an education, either it is a primary or the secondary school, and you can choose the topic from the STEM, which is the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subject. I will brief about this later on our second document, but for this document, please understand that this encompasses about 70% of the total marks, meaning that we didn't have any final exam. So our course will evaluate you in terms of the final project. And to make things easier, I divided this assessment into 3 phases, which is the phase 1 for the title approval, phase 2, the high concept document and pitching your idea. I just use the word pitching, but actually it's just a way you are explain about the project ataupun about the games you want to propose for the project. And then the phase 3 is the programming development, to see how you manipulating all the game objects and how you produce the functional game logics in that game application you are created. Okay, as I told, for this assessment you will be assigned to a group of 3. You may open to Kalam. Under week 3 you can see the list name of the group members. As you can see, the one I highlighted is the team leaders and the rest is the team members. Okay, you may check the Kalam for more details. And each group are required to propose a development of one 3D game application according to the case study, the topics, which is, I will not give you the topics, but you are the one that can discuss with your team members and come up with the topics, with the subject and the topics you want to cover for your game development. Okay, as I said earlier, in this assessment, you will need to develop a serious game, which is a game-based learning for the educational field. And you may choose your own game genre that is suitable for the case study or for the topics, so that the genre can be either puzzle, platform, obstacle avoidance, score catching, treasure hunt, strategy, and so on. Okay, you can choose either one. There will be no restricted, but it will be nice if you can give a different genre among the group, so that we can see a lot of variety of genres that you can propose in the class later on. Okay, so as I told, there are 3 phases for this assessment, which is the phase 1 is about the title approval. So for this phase 1, basically there will be no marks allocate for this phase, because all the marks is given to the phase 2, which is during the high concept document. But I need to you guys to go through this phase 1, because I want to make sure that the title proposed is different from one group to another group. I didn't want the same subjects, or it can be the same subject, but I don't want the same topics of the subject in the syllabus covered by 2 groups. Can you understand what I mean? Okay, so maksudnya di sini, kalau katalah ada satu group, let's say one group already propose to do the biology subject, which is inside the syllabus of biology. He choose to do the what topic is there about? Okay, let's say the easiest one is mathematics, because I love mathematics. Alright, let's say one group already proposed a mathematics for the topics of trigonometry. Okay, so another group cannot select the trigonometry as their topics. You need to choose another topic from the syllabus of mathematics. Let's say the algebra, or maybe the log function, and so on. So you have to choose differently. So how can I monitor this one? Is by having you to write a short proposal on the title approval, which is I will later explain about this phase 1. And the due date for this phase 1 is by week 3 on 6 November 2020 before 6 p.m. And then the next week you can refer to the Excel sheet to see either your proposed title is approved or being rejected. So sometimes from my experience, I rarely reject any proposal given or any title given, but sometimes I will call the group members to have some informal discussion with the group to polish or to extract what exactly you want to do and how it can different from another groups. So that's why I really need this phase 1 first before you guys proceed to the next phase. Alright? Okay. So remember, the leader will need to submit the Google form by week 3. We will go to this later on. And then on the phase 2, which is the high concept document and pitching the idea. On this level, basically, you already identify the genre of the games you want to do, and you also have the idea of how to do your level, to differentiate between level 1, level 2 and level 3. So in this high concept document, you have to identify what are the character of your games and what are the level design of your game. Okay, so do the level design. Each member should write the proposal of their own level or scene as following. When I said one group has 3 members and you need to do 3 different level, which is the scene 1 for the module for beginners, and then we have scene 2 module for the intermediate, and we have the module for expert in the level 3. So in this phase, I want each of the members to develop their own environment for each level separately, but you have to show the continuation of the game application. How you can do this is by manipulating the game object. You can use the existing, or I'm not saying you can use the existing environment, no. You can use the game asset in the game store, in the asset store, in the asset store, Unity asset store, to develop your own environment. In this phase also, you can identify what are the audio that you want to use and make sure the audio for your games is from the free resources. I already shared the link, as you can see in the column. Under here, asset acquisition resources. By clicking this link, you can get a list of resources that you can use to develop your game. It's not a compulsory to develop your own game object. Like, you may use your skillness on the 3D class, which I know part of you already learned about the 3D modeling. So if you want to create your own environment or your own character from scratch, you are welcome. But remember, the focus of our course is for you to use the programming. So I don't want you to waste your time on developing the environment from scratch. So what I want you to do is to develop the environment, regardless is either it's forest, city environments, underwater environments, and so on. But you can use the existing asset from the asset store. Make use of the asset. Alright. So remember, each student is required to develop own environment. Maksudnya kalau awak buat scene 1, so you have to develop, play around with the asset store and the environment, play around with the plane in the Unity to develop you punya scene. But make sure, walaupun awak work individually on the scene, please make sure that each of the scene is continuation. Maksudnya daripada scene 1, module for beginners, it has some continuation to the module for intermediate. Okay, and the same goes to from intermediate to the expert, because later on at the end of the phase, you will need to connect all the levels. Right, in the phase 2 also, you have to discuss and complete one high concept document to portray the idea of the proposed 3D game application. Right, phase 2 only can be started once you get approval on the title. Selagi saya tak approve you punya title, selagi tu you cannot proceed with the high concept document. That's why phase 1 is very, very important to be done earlier. So that when we go for the phase 2, which is I will later on share on the high concept document template for you to use the template. And then on week 7, we will do about 15 minutes of teaching so that all the group members can submit their proposal document and give the explanation about the idea. You have to present your idea so that everyone can give a feedback. Alright? Okay. So, and then by the end of the pitching session, you will need to submit the proposal lah. So I'm planning to do the pitching session by week 7 on the end of this month. So please get ready. After that, once we completing our phase 2, we will go to phase 3, which is the programming development. Right. In this phase, you will totally focus on the programming, on how you can use the programming to manipulate your game character, or to use to make your game functional, playable. So in this level. So basically in this programming development also, each members must reconstruct some physics concept and AI navigation that learned in the class. And then you may include some additional game features during this phase also. And at the end of the development phase, combine all levels into one game application and build the game in WebGL platform. This is the recommended platform. But I know some of you have the difficulties of building the WebGL platform using your own laptop. So it's okay. The least you can do is by building the games in the PC platform. But I really recommend in the WebGL platform. And then you need to write a manual or technical report on the game you have developed. I don't want another report. I just want a manual, a technical report about your game. And then, because we are in this era of COVID-19 where everything is online, so I need you to provide a 4-minute short video or trailer for your game's development. How you want to create a short video or the trailer is up to the group members' creativity. I have no guideline or no exact rule that you have to follow. It's up to you, but do not more than 4 minutes. The longest you can do is 5 minutes only, but must be in 4 minutes. But tak boleh kurang daripada 4 minit. 4 minutes or 5 minutes. So the minimum is 4 minutes up to 5 minutes. That's it. And then we will conduct the presentation of the final complete 3D game application on week 15 and 16, which is during the exam weeks. Okay? So that is the explanation or the instruction for the project. And as I told earlier, this assessment will be individually and teamwork. So you still have to work together, but try to develop, not try, but you have to develop on your own, especially the programming part. I want that everyone get actively involved with the development so that it be fair to get the mark, isn't it? So jangan terkejut kalau when I'm saying it's a group work, it doesn't mean that the mark for everyone will be equal. No. There may be some difference between the members of the group depending on your performance and your contribution to the project development. Okay. Then, alright. So, let's talk about, or maybe I can go there for the next video. Let's save this one for the next video. That's all for me on the project briefing. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.